Okie dokie, heidi ho! What is up? Happy hump day. Sorry I couldn't be here on Sunday. My body said no, and I was not very happy about that. But, it was a great intro. Thanks. It was fun. Sorry to hear about your grandmother. That sucks. And yes, I did add chaos. That's why I said, hey chaos, I added the thing. But apparently chaos is not picking a note for it. Ooh, the Pawpaw Kitty. Howdy, howdy. What is up? Sorry, my wife is now texting me. She likes to do this to me on Wednesdays. She's at work and she just likes to fucking start throwing texts at me as soon as she knows I'm streaming. And I slept all day. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I tried to, anyway. I didn't quite, but I wanted to. Boy, oh boy, did I want to. Oh well. Yeah, I sure wanted to. Oh well. Didn't happen. Not quite, anyway. I definitely was not, I was not real keen on getting out of bed, that's for damn sure. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, Naughty is leaving. Look out. Okay.
Quick, everybody start whispering about her.
Or don't. I mean, you know, I'm not your real dad. Whatever you choose. That's entirely up to you. So what do we got? What do we got? Yeah, it's... I know. I was erring on the side of pretending that we don't. I don't know. I guess. So for those of us up here in the Great White North, the kids still have like another week of school to go. I think this is their last week, or they might have a little bit more to do next week. A couple of finals to do next week, but yeah. And then my kid's in high school, and I don't know how to feel about that. Actually, that's pretty much how I feel about that. I'm not real big on the idea. A happy early summer. Well, I mean, she'll be home in like 10 minutes here, so. I mean, you'll know when the doorbell goes off, and by that I mean when Sabine goes off. That's how you'll be able to tell when she's home. Like always. Because, you know, that's my early warning system. Apparently. I guess. You know how it is. So, touching on the topic for the day, I do believe... Just let me double check here. Not that one, not that one, not that one, that one. Scheduled. Actually, it'll be happening right now. Today's topic will also be on the Substack right now. Because, yeah, I tried to time it that way, I guess. It's true. I mean, you're not wrong. Not generally wrong, anyway. Not overall. How about that? You're not wrong overall. I mean, even when we do have a topic, we still go all over the damn place, but... I mean, typically for Wednesdays, we tend to have topics. Sort of. Apparently mine was, not getting much sleep last night. Oh well. But yeah, today's article should be up on the Substack right now. Refreshing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. Anyway, so if you want to dive a little further into it, I've got all of the citations and sources and all of that in the article. So yeah, There you go. Sorry, I'm just gonna try. I'm trying to grab the link here now, so that I can pin it. Because, you know, that'd probably be helpful for a lot of people. Well, those who want to get the citations and shit. This one. Yes, that's the one. There we go. And because it was a requested topic, now don't ask me who requested it because I don't remember. But because it was a requested topic, the whole thing is free for everybody. It's open for all. Citations and everything are all there. So yeah, if you guys want to know more about what we're going to talk about today, that's where the sources live. Because I like to share that stuff with you guys, because gatekeeping is for bitches. Yeah, that's what I think about that. So, for those of you that may or may not be looking at this kind of a topic that they're going to have to deal with at some point in their lives, this one's for you. Again, I wish I could remember who asked for this one. Oh, it absolutely is. And you'd be shocked how many people, like, and that's what this, some of the, that's what some of the source material actually finds, is that there's some people who actually believe this kind of garbage. It's rather silly. I mean, if you think about it, how much ridiculous crap have you heard about it in the last how many years, right? In the last 3 or 4 years. How much ridiculous garbage and misinformation have you heard about it? Because that honestly is a pretty long list. Yeah. I'm envious of that. Hello. Welcome to today's topic. Sorry, I don't know what that accent was. Apparently it just kind of fell out of my face. See, now I'm mulling it. I'm trying to remember who it was who asked for this topic. And I can't remember who the hell it was. I don't think it was Sarah. I don't think it was Elspeth. I can't remember. It might be in the Discord. Map making and being productive. Oh. Well, look at you. Being productive. First off, how dare you? Like, very much so. How dare you? I am back for a few minutes. All right, then. Well, the article is up. And just like the carpets matching the curtains, the topic matches the topic. So there you go. Yeah, today, like I said, is a requested one. It's gonna be kind of a big one. Has been requested for a while. Again, I can't remember who did it, but that's okay. I'm sure whoever did it will watch the VOD or catch the article, one or the other. I don't know. But yeah, today, ADHD, autism, and perimenopause. So yes, this one's going out to all the women, and always women, blanket term, AFABs, female biologically, that kind of stuff. Well, in this case, it will be because it's a biological thing, so. Was it Chris? I can't remember. I don't know. Somebody tagged that crazy shit. Because if it was, maybe she wants to be here for it. I don't know. But I don't remember. Like I legit don't remember. But yeah, so I did the deep dive on the research. And, oh, pause. Hello, child. How was your little day? It was good? What'd you do today?
Not that much, actually. We did the LA exam.
Yeah?
And yeah, that was pretty much it.
Just the exam and then that's it? Well then. Doesn't that sound exciting? Alright. How'd you do on the exam? Yeah? Pretty confident? Excellent. I like to hear that. The stream is saying happy early summer and almost high school years. Thank you, she says. Happy early birthday. Yeah, let's not forget about that. Good grief. My brat of a child. Oh well, what can you do? Anywho. Where were we? Here I were. Alright, yes. So I guess this one might actually be kind of quick, I guess. All teens are brats to some degree. It's true. It's very true. If you have a question or if something does affect you, we will take pauses and, you know, do discussions and whatnot. Remember, with me not being somebody who is affected by this directly, physiologically. Oh, I'm affected by it at home, believe you me. But I'm not affected by it biologically. So I won't have the be-all and end-all reference point, obviously. I'm just telling you what the data says. I cannot give you lived experience. I am sure that some of you can discuss amongst each other and will have better knowledge than I. Again, I just got what the data shows. So there's my little disclaimer. I do not pretend to speak for those who would be affected by this. I will never know what it's like to go through this. I am fully aware of that. And I am certainly not going to act like I will ever know it. Cool? Cool. You guys know, obviously, I'm not going to take that stance about it. Unlike some other people that shall remain nameless. Alright. Shall we start babbling a little? It's crazy being in that time of life from the ladies I know, especially friends in neurodivergent medical stuff forced. Neurodivergent and for medical stuff forced into early menopause. Oh? I'm not 100% sure what you're saying there. I think. Oh, where did my chat go? There it went. My window vanished on me there. While I stand by for a reply, let's do a quick framing, shall we, before we start? If you're a woman, and remember when I say woman, remember that is a blanketing term. Again, today it is going to be covering AFABs, will be transgender men, okay? Because biologically this probably will affect them. That way. Holy shit, it's an Amber. What's up, kiddo? The one breast cancer, so now has menopause. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Yes, that probably would have something to do with it. Yeah, tinkering around with the reproductive goodies will probably do something like that. Yeah. Again, remember, I'm not a doctor or your real dad. So there you are. What's going on there, Amber Tamber? Troublemaker? You showed up so we could discuss perimenopause, did you? Just got home from minor procedure today. Had the loop heart monitor inserted. I thought they made earplugs. Sorry. That's a free bonk from Ari. How timely a comment, since Story Mage was just saying about that. Yeah, how very timely a comment. All right, well, I don't remember if this touches on that aspect of it. Sorry, I was like smoking fucking tired when I finished writing this, so like I think I finished it at like 2:30 or something, and the meds I had taken at midnight finally decided to kick in. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be discovering this all together, I guess. Alrighty, okay, so like I was saying, I'm gonna use the term women here. You know that that's a blanket term. That means AFABs, that means transgender men for the most part. Anybody who biologically is going to have to deal with this. Not me. Again, I'm not speaking for women. I would never do that because I don't know what the experience is. And frankly, a part of me is thankful for that, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I do not speak for women. I'm just showing you what the data says. Continuing on. Yes, that's right. You'd better take care of yourself. He says threateningly. Menacingly even. Anyway. So again, if you're a woman in your late 30s, 40s, or 50s who has felt like you are losing it lately, today might explain it a bit. This will keep me out of the hospital. Thank fuck for that. Also relevant if you support someone who is going through this. Partners, friends, coaches, family members, etc. One quick content note. Later in the stream, later in the stream, we will be touching very briefly on, get your words here. We will be touching very briefly on suicide and self-harm risk statistics from the research. Okay, it's factual context, not the focus. But I wanted to say that up front and just get that out there. Hi, Heather. Holy crap, you showed up early enough to actually catch the topic. Not halfway through. I'm proud of you. I accept all hugs. Oh, well then. Well then. You will take that and you will like it. Anyway. Another heads up. Just like the Aphantasia stream that we did last week or the week before. There is there's a real chance some of you might stumble across a discovery moment. So, yeah. There's that. I don't know how many of you remember or who were here for the Aphantasia, but there were some people that were like, and had some that was not a bad Tim Allen. That had a little bit of self-discovery going there. So, all right. Ready? let's do this. Keep painting, that'd be great. So I got this heart monitor answered. It stays in for 3 years. Yeah, that's kind of a permanent fixture. That's a permanent titty fixture. Sorry, that was dumb. All right. Quick context on why we're only getting this research now / recently. Women's middle life health has been chronically under-researched in general. I'm sure many of you can attest to that. Add a neurodevelopmental condition on top of it, and the gap becomes massive. So, to date, only a handful of published studies worldwide have examined autistic women's experiences with menopause specifically. None in the US until very recently. ADHD and perimenopause, that research is newer as well. Fun fact, all women have heart problems when they start to peri, yeah. Yeah. All right, so the biggest pattern underneath both of these, so this isn't just an ADHD or autism story, it's a hormone and neurodivergent story, okay? Reproductive hormones already have a documented relationship with both conditions before menopause even comes into the picture. So we will get into the PMDD data as well shortly, and it might surprise some of you. So the big reframe for today, which this was, as we had already mentioned, perimenopause does not cause ADHD or autism. I can't believe this had to be a point that came up. YOLO, I mean, if that's your jam. It removes a support system that was already quietly there, and that support system was estrogen, and most people had no idea it was doing this kind of work. Okay? So before I get into the data, remind me, how many of you are in your 30s or 40s? I don't think many of you. I definitely started before perimenopause, and we started before I was even born. That's right. Ari is. Oh, shut up. We know Mama is. And I think... Right, Heather is. Okay, right. Right, 35 in a week. Okay. So, before we get into it then, how many of you felt like your ADHD or autism symptoms got dramatically worse recently, in Amber's case, or especially in your late 30s and into your 40s? How many of you found that? Give me a 1 in chat. Now that could be diagnosed, undiagnosed, self-discovered. Cough. I'll take your cough as a 1. Should get some Robitussin for that. I'm gonna listen and alert, force myself to try and clean. Do it. If you have anything to add or anything you need me to repeat, just come back and let me know. Alrighty then. Checking the timer here, just making sure that I got time for this, because I know we kind of babbled on a little bit. All right, so we're gonna go over the one paper, and remember, I pinned up in the pin there. I put the Substack article that I put up today because it has all of the citations and whatnot at the bottom of the article. It's a free one; everybody has access to it. Okay, all of the citations are at the bottom. So the first paper that I'm looking at I just finished reading it. Well, then this won't come as much surprise to you then. This is the ADHD study and the wider ADHD hormone picture. Okay, so this one is a 2025 European Psychiatry one, the paper. It uses Iceland's Saga cohort, which I should have put more than the acronym in, at 5,392 women ages 35 to 55. So I wouldn't call it a small swath of data. They were tracked over 5 years. The baseline 2018, and then the follow-up was in 2024. They were all of a self-reported ADHD status, and they measured perimenopausal symptoms with the menopause rating scale. If you didn't know that was a thing, then now you know that's a thing. Authenticata. Get rid of it. I'm dealing with low energy. That's fine. Hey, don't worry, Elspeth. It's not going anywhere. It'll be there. So the headline numbers out of this study were that 54.2% of women with ADHD reported debilitating perimenopausal symptoms. So they compare that to roughly a third of the women without ADHD. It was really productive today, but I've hit the wall. That's awesome of you for being productive. Aw, Elspeth! Yay! You made everybody dance. Look at you. Perimenopause. Yeah, that's a bitch that plagues me. Well, hopefully you'll learn something about it today. So the biggest gap was between 35 and 39, which suggests perimenopause may start up to 10 years earlier in ADHD women than it would with somebody who was of a neurotypical nervous system. That's kind of a disgusting thought if you think about it, huh? I'm deep dive like... I haven't deep dived this already. Yeah. I'll be going through full menopause after next month. I just realized that. Yeah. Just what we need. More things to worry about when menopause eventually comes. Yep. Exactly. But I mean, if you think about it, like really think about that. The fact that this can start up to 10 years earlier just because of your neurotype. Right? That doesn't give us a whole lot of hope. Like, really? Definitely a disgusting thought. Mm-hmm. Alright. Okay, so this is not an isolated finding. It fits a bigger pattern. There was a 2023 review that found hormone-related mood symptoms were already significantly more common in women with ADHD generally, well before perimenopause even starts. Which, I mean, that kind of tracks if you think about it, right? Problems with your, emotional regulation. I was going to say regularity. That's not the word I was looking for. Your brain shits itself. So I guess maybe emotional regularity is the way to look at it. Is beneficial for our bodies because it prepares us for menopause. And fuck yes, no more periods. Hurry the fuck up. I mean, okay. I have a good friend who's in perimenopause and was just diagnosed. Cool, cool. Well, hey, maybe share with them the article if they're ADHD or autistic. Let me see here. Where were we? All right, so there is a separate study that was using the Brown ADD scale, which is horribly named. It found ADHD-like symptoms increase specifically during the shift from premenopause to perimenopause. The same study found that partial recovery after menopause completes, but only if menopause happens naturally and not surgically. I'm so sorry, Amber. Diagnosed perimenopause at 33. Good God. Not sad about early menopause. I'm done with this shit already. I mean, that's fair. That is definitely fair. So yeah, as for with the study that finds partial recovery after menopause completes, but only if it happens naturally, not surgically. There's a big distinction. If you have a I'm so sorry, Amber. I'm gonna be picking on you a lot today. I love you. I apologize. If you have a hysterectomy or a did I say that word? I did. Hysterectomy. As soon as I said the word, my brain went, you didn't say that right. I don't know why. It's not like I can't pronounce the word. Efficacy. Anyway, if you had a hysterectomy or surgical menopause, your recovery curve may look completely different. Pick me all you want. I already do. Well, and like I said, Heather, that's something that we are going to touch on later. Okay, so the qualitative side that backs this up, backs it up hard. A 2024 study interviewed 6 women with combined autism and ADHD diagnoses. Their findings were that they were struggling with perimenopause, and it was often the actual catalyst that pushed them to seek an ADHD diagnosis in the first place. So, not a coincidence, because perimenopause is functioning like an accidental diagnostic trigger for a lot of women, which is kind of where the title of the article came from, right? The fact that people were going through perimenopause, it was triggering all of their symptoms, it was spiking them, and then that's where they got their diagnosis, was because it was showing so prevalently. But the fact that people still think that it causes autism or ADHD is insane. Are you being a mom too? Yeah, polar bear mama's alright. She's like, I will come through that screen and rip your lips off. Okay, so here's the real world impact data from a large ADHD focused survey. It's not peer reviewed, but it is worth mentioning as context, okay? So, heads up, this is not peer reviewed. In this survey, more than half of the respondents said that ADHD had its single greatest overall life impact during their 40s and during their 50s, specifically during the menopause transition. Only 17% said the same about their 20s and 30s. 70% described brain fog and memory issues during this period as life-altering. 70% also described general overwhelm as life-altering. One respondent described working all night just to keep up with what unconscious strategies used to handle automatically. Let me try that again without stumbling over the words. One respondent described working all night just to keep up with what unconscious strategies used to handle automatically. I don't know why my lips are doing that today. So, quick version, and I will get into more of this later. Quick version, the mechanisms. Estrogen supports dopamine function. ADHD already has inconsistent dopamine signaling. This is something we all knew. Estrogen drops, dopamine support drops. The system that was already shaky gets shakier. Okay? So, that'll wrap up this part here before our self-care break. Okay? Are we all following along? Is there anything that is not making sense so far? Or is everything kind of making sense? Because the primary audience, as far as I can tell, fall under the blanketed women term. Like an earthquake. I'm not sure how to take that.
Squirrel.
Or you're talking about the shakiness. Never mind. Got my MRI results. Got a bundle of cysts on my knee. Referred to a surgeon. Yay. Oh, yay. No, yay. No, not yay. My next MRI is coming up on the 30th. 29th or 30th? One of the two. Making sin sense. I don't know what that word is. Rematch later. My brain is demanding a nap now. No, quickly. Hey, you know what? If your body says rest, then go rest. Right? If you don't rest when your body tells you to, you're going to rest when your body makes you. So, don't worry, Story. The VOD is going to be here if you want, and the article is still going to be there if you prefer that instead. It's all good. Go take care of you. Have a rest. Question for you guys, though, before we go into the self-care break. And that is, did your ADHD symptoms specifically worsen earlier than you expected, like your mid to late 30s rather than later? And every day, I miss my nap because no, mine is on the 29th or 30th. I'm not looking forward to it. And yeah. And remind me, cysts, right after we do the self-care break. Grab a water, a snack, hit the bathroom, refill your coffee, pet your dog.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, hidey-ho there, neighbor. Kaboom! Blow up that fucking cup. Kill it. Kill it. Alrighty. Let me see here. Just catching up to what everybody was talking about there. Hitting mid-30s, and I've yet to see a change. I haven't noticed. Okay, forget about those. Only major change during the pandemic. Developed issues, light, sound over stimulation. Mine really came ripping out during that period. Like, I had always kind of had a problem with them, but they really came ripping out for me. Autism. I'm asking you the last couple years, had a few friends ask me if I'm on the autism spectrum, but have never got diagnosed. Did they ask you in, like, a polite way, or did they ask you in, like, a being a dick kind of way? Jay, what's going on, buddy? You can look into some of those tests. Well, I'm going to show you here. Excuse me. Mandy Candy. Well, hello, and thank you. Oh, that's Ari throwing subs around. Look at you guys go. Sis reminder, that's right. Thank you. I don't know if you guys caught. I was talking about it since we were discussing MRIs before the self-care break there, and that I've got mine coming up. I actually had an ultrasound because as part of the whole MS kerfuffle, I had to have like my bladder ultrasounded. Ultrasounded? Yeah, that's a word now. They wanted to do that like in advance of recommending me to a urologist, so like that was like the next step kind of way. Well, they found out that my left kidney is in primo shape. My right kidney is like cyst hell. I have got, I don't even know how many, but I have got a shit ton. They didn't specify the number. They just said multiple, right? I have a whole bunch of cysts in my right kidney, but they're not going to concern themselves with it because not one of them is connected to a blood vessel. So that means they're not growing. So what they said was that each of them was like between 0.3 and 0.5 millimeters in length or something. I'd have to pull up my my healthcare page. Mine is growing. Well, yeah, you have two of them. Oh, you're not talking about your kids. Never mind. I've been to the eye doctor about light issues. When I was 22, 23, somewhere in there was a big issue with my eyes and being light sensitive and whatnot. And my neurologist actually thinks that's where the onset of the MS came from. Alcoholism should fix it. Yeah. 6 millimeter kidney stone. Jesus Christ. I can't imagine cyst. Yeah. Like I knew nothing about it until she came back with that from the ultrasound. Yeah, that's the liver. That's right. That is the liver. Though I'm sure the alcoholism doesn't help the kidneys. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so side note before we carry on. Once again, the article for today's stream is pinned up in the top of the chat. That has all of these citations because there's like 4 or 5 of them. So that will have all of these citations and sources for the papers that I'm pulling from today. Don't forget to subscribe to me on Substack if you haven't already. Most of the good shit is free. I'm considering, and I'm still thinking about it, I'm considering making all of the articles free. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Passing the notes are a really good time, let me tell you. Yeah, no. Thanks, Jay. I'm also past the 3 million. I'm not looking forward to passing this one. I'm not looking forward to anything that's going to happen out of this, honestly, if they start growing. I don't want to think about it. Because I have never, in my adult life, had a surgery in the hospital. Knock on something, right? Never in my adult life. But my wife has had enough for both of us. Oh, Jesus, fuck. No, no, thank you. No. No. If you didn't know, now you know. I've got a brand new book coming out this Saturday. Pre-order is available now. It's just a short story, so it's not as long as my last one, which it is going to absolutely be dwarfed by the next one. Yeah, Standard Procedure is my next book coming out on Saturday. Just, like I said, a short story. It's not too long. If you are a patron, you will get a free copy of the ebook, because why not? I last night started working on, because damn you, Quantum Eris, I started working on the audiobook for it last night. So the audiobook will be available too. There will be a deluxe edition available on my website in the near future, which will include the ebook, will include a soundtrack, and will include the audiobook. The audiobook, because I am such a nitpicking little fucking perfectionist, is going to have background music, different characters doing the different voices, and sound effects in the audiobook. Because that's what I think an audiobook should sound like, because I feel like it should pull you in and create a movie in your mind. Anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into that. The ebook and the paperback, yeah, they come out on Saturday. So there you go. Now you know. I have light sensitivity too. Let me reread that. I have light sensitivity too, and sometimes one foot doesn't lift or stay up as long. That's me. It shuffles when I walk sometimes. That's me. When's the last time you had an MRI there, Heather? Because never. Maybe you may want to talk to your doctor about, maybe DM me afterwards. Actually. Yeah, DM me afterwards. Because I'm not gonna be that guy. Yeah, it's true, they suck, but they're also necessary. We'll compare notes. Anyway, shall we continue? Let us do that before I get way too far off topic. Because off topic is the topic. Yeah, maybe tethercord, maybe check. Speak of the, were your ears ringing, Eris? Because I was just cursing your name? Fuck, your ears must have been ringing. Uh-huh. I don't know if you heard anything, but yeah, I was cursing you. And was it you who requested this topic? I was trying to figure it out. Who requested this? I couldn't remember. I heard nothing. Like, legitimately heard nothing. I was cursing your name because I started working on the audiobook last night. So I was just talking about the deluxe edition while I was promoting the fact that the ebook and the paperback drop this Saturday. So It has been a while. How are you? How is our lovely maitre d'? In all caps. I would have screamed it, but, you know, I'm not going to be that guy. Doing well? Very nice, very nice. Today our topic is, and I don't know how much of this would affect you, we're talking about ADHD, autism, and perimenopause because it was a requested topic. The link to the article that I wrote about this today, which came out just under an hour ago, is linked at the top, which has all of these sources and citations. You are welcome. I only curse you because of how much work I know that it's going to be, because, as I just said, because I am a nitpicky little fucking perfectionist. It's specifically for you, or for your wife, or information for you in being there and supporting your wife. But the motivation, I know. Holy shit, I got a whole bunch coming out of the woodwork right now. It's a good thing I haven't quite started part 2 here. Don't have diagnosed any of those. People I think I am autistic or both, so I don't know. Well, I mean, around here, a self-diagnosis is 100% valid, provided, caveat, provided you go through the, you know, the actual work of looking for it, or rather of doing the research for it, is what I was trying to say. I may have come here to curse you, so it's fair. I mean, curse me? Wait, what are you cursing me for? I've been distracted. Your article made me cry. Today's? Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Yeah, we were trying to remember who it was who requested this. And I wasn't sure if it was you or if it was Chris. I couldn't remember. Nadia and I were trying to figure it out, but whatever. But yeah, the article that we're talking about is the one pinned at the top of chat. It is the article about today's discussion. I was supposed to go to an ADHD meeting, but now I'm dealing with the in-laws. In-laws or outlaws? Comes up a ton because it's relevant. Amen to this. It absolutely is. And I'll also be sending this to my wife. Brother and mother-in-law. Gotcha. Gotcha. I've been around for a few weeks. Well, I've been sitting on this one for a little bit. Like, I think I've been sitting on this one for about a month. Just kind of like looking for the right time to drop it, because I had so many other good articles that were coming up. I did have a doctor try and diagnose me with autism, but they retracted their diagnosis saying I am too empathetic because I cried, which is fucking stupid. The most empathetic people I know are autistic. I 100%, I totally side with you on that. That is the dumbest fucking thing that you could retract a diagnosis for. It's like saying you're not autistic because you can make eye contact. First off, not all autistics are a monolith. We're all different. If you have met one autistic, you have met one autistic. Second, have you ever fucking heard of masking? Where did you get your fucking... where'd you get your doctorate from? Rice Krispies with 3 box tops and a fucking posted envelope? Like... I just... bleh. Some of the creators saying this shit. Data we found. You found the research to back this shit. Was there a specific thing you were pointing at there, Eris? Were you talking about the perimenopause and whatnot? Because yeah, what have I got? 4 or 5 articles to back this up? They got Rice Krispies indeed. Sorry, I've got the article open here. I'm just going to scroll. What have I got? 1, 2, 3. 4. Right, yeah, 4 is the frontiers in reproductive health, I think. Yeah. So yeah, 4. Doctor, he's making eye contact with me, Nolan. Tell the doctor where you're looking in. Yeah, his nose. I'm looking right here. Or I'm looking at your eyebrow. One or the other. Once again, ever heard of masking, motherfucker? There's a sheep in my house at the moment. I think that was probably one of the most random things I've heard today. Is that there's a sheep in your house. That's how you do it too? Yeah. I need to read the person. And that's fair. I rarely look at the eyes. Very seldom. Pitter points out something that can be used as a tactic if you can make yourself comfortable enough with it, and if you have enough practice at it. This is just me speaking for myself. Then yeah, that's a tactic that I have used in the past as well. Is trying to read somebody based on their eyes or micro movements around their eyes. Suddenly, so they think I'm making eye contact. I mean, fair enough. That's all good. All right, let's get the fuck back into this before I get derailed far too much. Actually did something I have procrastinated about today. What is that? Our next section here is the autism studies expanded. And there are 2 papers that I'm going to be referencing in this here, which again, all sources link up at the top of the chat on Twitch. Sorry, YouTube. They should be in the description on YouTube. 2 main papers that I'm working here, plus supporting data. So paper number 1 is from 2024, A Perfect Storm, published in... what is it? Autism Qualitative Study, 24 autistic participants. Took place in Canada and the UK. Co-designed with autistic researchers at every stage, which matters for credibility. Hey! Holy shit! There's a name I haven't seen in a while. Getting my IV hydration right now. Is it that hot down there? And there's my afternoon med alarm. I guess we're gonna pause for a second while I take my afternoon meds. Holy shit, Harley, how you been? Besides being, what, fucking dehydrated? What happened? What's going on with that? Yes, we're doing an afternoon med pause. That's for my pots. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I understand. I understand on paper. Instead of twice with hydration and anti-nausea meds. Oh. You get stabbed, yeah. When they were setting me up for potentially having an IV medication for my MS, I was calling it the oil change, but I never ended up getting that. Anyway, Maitre D, proud of you for accomplishing some stuff. Remember, guys, if all you can do today is get out of bed, I'm proud of you. If you ate something today, I'm proud of you. If you showered today, I'm proud of you. If you woke up, I'm proud of you. There you go. Love non-sports fan. Nice. Oh, food. Good idea. ADHD already involved inconsistent dopamine signaling. Yes, layer on erratic, declining hormonal supply on top of already inconsistent system. Yeah, doesn't produce a mild dip. Nope, that was one of the last things I said before the self-care break. Last infusion Monday. I'm so sorry to hear that. God, I didn't eat yet. Get something to eat. Get a snack. On the platform, perfectly imperfect. Nice. I have heard of it. I showered twice. I love showering. Fair enough. Trimming has been, menopause is hard for everyone. That's how true. I was going to say, this sounds familiar. The research now showing specifically, yeah. ADHD and autistic women in particular have been describing something closer to a collapse than a transition. Yeah. Going through the highlights, yeah. Just looking at my paperwork, stash migraines. Looks like a dinosaur. It does. I washed my face and teeth earlier. There you go. All right, again, here we go. The autism part of it, okay? Like I said, 2 papers and supported data that I'm pulling from. One from Canada and the UK, co-designed with autistic researchers at every stage, which mattered for credibility. 4 themes identified: symptom complexity, life experience converging at midlife, importance of knowledge and connection, barriers to support. What do I got here? Vortex killer. Today I went to my gender hormone clinic for a follow-up 3 years into my transition. It was all good. Excellent. Then I got back home, showered, and did it for deep. Autism included. Excellent. And by the way, thank you for pointing that out, because it occurred to me I did not push this button earlier today. Yet.
Trans rights are human rights, and if you don't agree, you can fuck off.
That's all. Anyway. It's really because perimenopause. I feel fucking seen. I would love to take credit for that, but like I said, I'm not going to speak for women at all. Vortex is my silly goose. Excellent. Well, I welcome you. Welcome to our never-ending train of crazy shit, Vortex Killer. Nice to have you. Today we are discussing perimenopause and ADHD and autism. Again, not something I know anything about personally, nor will I ever know anything about it personally, but I'm just sharing the data because I found the data because this was requested. We're men. We know everything about women. No, I'm sorry, wrong country. Oh no, wait, we live in Alberta. They still think like that here too. Whatever. All right, so moving forward. The numbers that mattered the most. 2/3 of participants didn't know they were autistic when perimenopause started. Decades of unexplained struggling, and then a breaking point, then discovery is basically how they went through it. One participant, 50 years of not knowing until sensory sensitivities became unmanageable. So again, relating back to what we were talking about earlier with the ADHD, is that there were so many that had no idea that they were ADHD or autistic until perimenopause hit. I'm a man and I know less than nothing. I'm reminded often. I feel that. Okay, so the masking collapse theme. Several participants described an abrupt loss of the version of themselves that could function at work. One phrase that stuck with me was, and I found this a few times in there, was they were unrecognizable as that person. That stuck with me because it is something that I am feeling as of late too. Unrelated to the perimenopause. Maybe it's perimenopause that I'm going, never mind, that's stupid. Anyway, I'm MTF, I'm not have menstrual cycles and PMS symptoms. The PMS symptoms are real, minus a bleeding course. You know what? I kind of feel you there, because I feel like every now and again, emotionally, like I kind of sync with the one. I don't know if it's in my head or what it is, but there you go. Heard of things like, and I've heard of them too. My wife tells me that as well. I laugh because I also cry. Discovered around the time my I was going to say Mary Penopause, but you know what I meant. But yeah, just like with the ADHD, there were so many of them that they did not realize, or they did not get their diagnosis until perimenopause hit or menopause hit, because that's where the hormones fucking spiked, and yeah, that's where their symptoms went absolutely through the roof. So a second qualitative finding worth naming, and that is trauma and life history compounding at this exact moment. There were several participants that described decades of being misunderstood, bullied, social isolation, all converging right at midlife alongside the hormonal shift. There was one participant, an autistic trans man. That's for everybody.
Eat something yummy, motherfucker!
Mary penal pause. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm going through. Am I no longer be predictable, and that's way too soon. Scary. Oh fuck! Don't worry about it. That's why the button is there. Okay, so there was one autistic trans man. Now remember, when I say women today, it's a blanket term, and what I mean is biological females. Words. God damn it. I had a whole list like lined up there in my head. Anyway, women, AFABs, so biological females. Trans men, this could also affect. Okay? So because this is biology, this isn't gender dynamics, it's your actual biology. Okay? So, people who possess the parts to do the thing. There you go, exactly. One participant, an autistic trans man, described going through this transition almost entirely without support. The point, perimenopause doesn't happen in isolation. It lands on top of whatever life history you are already carrying. Anyone born with a uterus, essentially. More or less. We know that, asterisk, right? We know that there are caveats to that. At work, we'll catch up later. Yep. I don't even know how I feel. I don't even know how I feel in 20 minutes. I would like to, yeah, that's mood. Fucking mood. Okay, so paper number 2, a 2025 paper in the Journal of Women's Health. It was quantitative, 242 autistic people, 10 non-autistic people. It was a direct comparison across menopause stages. The autistic people had higher psychological and somatic symptom severity. The interesting twist is not higher vasomotor symptoms, meaning hot flashes, specifically weren't worse. Okay, so this matters because menopause screening tools were built around hot flashes, which is stupid. But if that's the only thing that is measured, autistic women's actual symptom, their symptom burden gets missed entirely, right? So again, we're pointing at the fact that while the research is getting better, the diagnoses need to expand, right? They can't just be measuring menopause based on hot flashes, for example, right? They can't be measuring autism based on eye contact, right? They can't be measuring ADHD based on how Jay is, you know? Sorry, just wanted to see if you were paying attention. It's basically menopause fucks up. Yeah, but not always. Exactly, right? Another case of it's not a monolith. Another case of it affects everybody differently, right? Just like ADHD does, just like autism does, right? These people that are going through this, their experience is not a monolith. Their experience is varied. Their experience is different. I wonder if it's because we have adjusted to dealing like pot system. I sit sooner, drink more, and sit in the shade. Maybe? That may be a factor? Maybe. Okay, so we covered that paper there. My experience with dyspraxia, too. It affects everyone. Well, it affects everyone differently. It doesn't affect everyone, but it affects everyone around you, though. I'm kidding. But yeah, there are a couple people that are diagnosed dyspraxic, and yeah, they can attest that their experience is different as well, right? Okay, so I also have an international study that is, or it's a survey, rather, worth mentioning, from 2024. I meant to say different. No, I got what you were saying. We learn to adjust sooner than we are diagnosed. Exactly. Because we're masking before we have to mask. We're already making those micro adjustments in our lives to compensate, essentially. Or at least many of us are. TLDR, menopause is basically when hormone production hits rock bottom. There are cases where people who undergo bottom surgery have to pause their HRT and they become hormoneless, which can affect bone health. I don't know if I would say they are hormone. Like, I get where you're going with that. I totally get, and I totally understand what you're saying. I don't know if hormoneless is the right term, but I know what you mean. I gotcha. Okay, right. So this one here, international survey from 2024. 508 autistic people surveyed across 24 countries. 54% of them did not know that they were autistic entering menopause, consistent with the smaller Brady study, the one that I just mentioned. 62% were surprised by changes in their memory and concentration. Almost 60% were surprised by their changes in mental health. 47% were surprised by disturbed sleep. So the pattern here is that nobody told these people what to expect, so the symptoms landed as confusing and frightening rather than anticipated. The bigger finding in this is people who didn't know how menopause might specifically affect them as autistic people rated their transition as significantly harder than those who did know. So knowledge itself helped to change the outcome. I can't ride a bike due to dyspraxia. Chaos is dyspraxic, if I remember correctly, and they will tell you that their experience as a dyspraxic. Like I've heard about it a bit. It's not just a matter of being clumsy and banging into everything, right? I was wrong. If normal is a percentage of average as well as weird, then what's normal? Amen to that. Personally, if she used an incorrect term, there's never... No, not at all. But please don't think that I was taking any offense to that. I was not. We're educational around here. At the very, very most, somebody is going to get re-educated on a term around here. Unless you're a troll, and then I'll fucking eat your soul. Other than that. Give me a smiley face if you've seen me eat a troll for dinner on the stream. Gonna feel like everybody has autism, just different levels of visibility or severity. False. I will disagree with that. You guys have seen it. I will disagree with that. I absolutely abhor the terms everybody has a little ADHD or everybody has a little autism. The reason being because it is a neurotype. It is the way that your nervous system is designed. It's like it's a case of you have it or you don't, right? And that's provable. Just because somebody, ADHD for example, just because somebody forgot their keys at home a couple times does not make them have ADHD, right? Just because somebody is a little oversensitive to sound does not mean they're autistic. Does it mean that they cannot display similar traits to somebody who has ADHD or autism? No, hell no. Of course not. Everybody is a little spicy rather than insert label. That, yeah, I'd accept that, right? I'd 100% accept that. again, it's not like people that do not have ADHD or autism can't express certain traits of it, right? Like I said, everybody forgets their keys sometimes. Everybody, you know, I don't want to say so much hyper focuses, but, you know, gets into that rabbit hole. Everybody can do that. Does it mean that they are ADHD? No. Personally, though, I do think one is typical. Please continue. Menopause is you cannot reproduce. Don't need this hormone. Live to protect how you become stronger. Teach future. If you need to say no biologically, be strong and progesterone is higher. It does make sense, but it comes at a cost. I'm a troll, but enough about my looks. I know the movements to swim, but I can't swim. Same, but that's now thanks to the MS. Sadly. Not that I was ever super big on swimming, because I'm kind of a hydrophobe, but that didn't mean that I didn't enjoy it every now and then. I mean, in every sense, but especially in interoception. That's fair. Alright, let me just continue here. I've been losing control of my grip and body lately, and I'm not sure it's partly dyspraxia. Making up my words again. I mean, it very well could be, right? I've been losing control of the strength in my left side, but that's because of the number of lesions I have on the right side of my brain, right? Fun biological fact, if you didn't know, the right side controls the left side controls the right. Anyway, a lot of noises suddenly hurt my soul. Eye contact is a weird pet peeve of mine. Socially inept at time. I can relate with all of those to varying degrees. Went to a water park, couldn't swim, was able to keep my head above water. Good on you. Brain fog high, very much so. Very much so. Okay, so we got about 8 minutes before the next self-care break. We'll just power through this part here. Okay, so here is the PMDD and menstrual cycle connection. Again, to the women in chat, give me a 1 if you have PMDD or if you think you have PMDD. I'm noise averse, but I don't have an official diagnosis. And again, like I was just saying, you know, just because may not be, you know. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it could be a part of autism, right? But again, I'm not a doctor. Make tricycles for adults? Yeah, they do. Who knows? Okay, so here's where we're going to cross the PMDD. My wife has it as well. I would like to say me. I'm not going to disagree with you. It's a hormonal thing. I don't know what it is. It's premenstrual. God damn it. I forgot what the third D is. Eris, back me up here. Think of it like, and I hate to say this, I'm stereotyping. That's the fourth D. What's the third one? Or the first D, the D. I forgot the D. No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's dysphoric. There you go. Thank you. Think of it like PMS from hell. That's a terrible stereotype, but it is. Think you're stereotyped PMS and then ramp it up to about 20. Say HRT actually improved my brain fog. Not gonna lie, it's wild. I envy you. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Thank you. Yeah. PMS from hell and spirally thoughts before or after, during period at least. Yeah, it's a thing. My wife is diagnosed with it, so okay. The PMDD and menstrual cycle connection, because this sets up the menopause pattern years later. One study found 21% of autistic women experience PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. If I had just read a little farther, I had written it down for myself because I knew I was going to forget. Anyway, compared to 3% of non-autistic women. So that's 21% of autistic women who experience it compared to 3% of non-autistic. A separate study focused on autistic women with co-occurring learning disabilities found that 92% experienced PMDD, compared to 11% in the comparison group. I still love you. A later 2022 study didn't replicate quite as large a gap, finding 14.3% versus 9.5%, so not statistically significant in that sample. But it did find clearly elevated menopausal symptoms in autistic women. PMS sucks majorly, as well as the first 2 days ago to major grade. You have my sympathy as somebody who does not physically understand it, for what that's worth. Okay, so here's why this study here matters, all right? If reproductive hormone fluctuation is already harder on autistic brains every month, then menopause is essentially that same vulnerability playing out as a single sustained multi-year transition instead of a monthly cycle. It's a good habit to spell the alphabet soup with Chris Spears. He used to work in the soupiest alphabet soup. Yes. Well, like I said, if I had just read 2 to 3 lines down, I did myself the favor of actually putting it there. Oh well. All right. Question for you before we go to the self-care break. By the way, Vortex, if you didn't know, every hour, because we neurodivergents are shit at taking care of ourselves, and in an effort to cover up the mandatory ads from Twitch, we do a self-care break where I encourage you all to stand up and have a stretch, or go get a snack, or go get some water, or pet your puppy, or go to the bathroom, do the things that you need to do. We do this once an hour, every hour. So that's coming up in a couple of minutes here. I'm just going to read these, and I got a question for you. I describe the crimes like an army full of 6-foot men in full medieval armor marching around in... Wow. Never come across any research in the brief or how it affect my dog vision. I did one on grief. That was specifically in grief relating to a late life diagnosis. I have done stuff on that. Is that something you want me to actually do an article on? Because I will. Because grief affects all of us rather differently, but there are some somebody want to DM. Actually, Harley, you're in the Discord, aren't you? If you are, just DM that to me. Trigger warning, the cause of many slaughters. Well, and that is something actually that we're going to touch on after. Is, as I said, there is trigger warning. A part we're going to touch on that has to do with suicide and self-harm. So, just putting that out there. I forgot to mention the current therapeutic grounding technique. Bird feeding and watching, nice. Tracks my brain in a very pleasing way. I could see that. I could see that. All right, so my question for you. For anyone who discovered that they were autistic in midlife, Amber, is something to be aware. Yes, it is. So, for anyone who discovered that they were autistic in midlife, did perimenopause play a role in that discovery? If it did, tell me a little bit about it, as much or as little as you wish to share. I think that's my sign to go for a walk. It has to do with the peri and whatnot. It shouldn't be too bad, but all right, that's fair, Jay. I 100% respect that, my brother. I will talk to you later tonight, okay? Anyway, in the meantime, it is time for that self-care break. Nope. I got you. Take care of you, my brother. How do I DM you in there? If you can click on my name at the very top of the user list where it says that I'm currently live. If you click on that, it'll pop my little profile thing there. You can just put it in there. Or search me up, look for the Squirrel Father. Anyway, time for that self-care break. So grab yourself a water or a snack, stand up, have a stretch. If you elect to step out, I respect that. Take care of you. But
After these messages, we'll be right back.
back in a minute.
Unstoppable. Gotta keep it moving. Pressure keep on building. Unstoppable. The pulse is on the move. The pulse is coming through. just that gritty. Sweat, full moon, and the nights ain't pretty. I come alive in the warehouse, baby. Got that underground sound. That underground sound. Got that underground sound.
I had to share with my kid that you were going on about the Gengar avatar, because Gengar is her favorite Pokemon by far. So I had to say that somebody in chat was talking about cheering about a Gengar avatar, and she's like, "Yay, Gengar!" Because that's my kid. Alrighty, let's see here. I did it. Yes, I caught that. I didn't read it, but I caught it. Ability to mask was declined. Symptoms ramped up. That's fair. Discovering who you're in under curtain can be a little dysregulating. Yeah. I talked about that with the grief in a later life diagnosis. The compressing has been 2 years. Send that. Give yourself 4 to 6 months for a single event. Ongoing life. Well, I'm going on what? 3 years? Or something? What did I get diagnosed? I think it was spring of 24. Or 23. Yeah, spring of 23. So I'm going to my 3rd year now. Thanks for letting me know that. Hey, no worries. Severe PTSD due to several reasons. I mean, fair enough. Right? But I mean, even now, I am still dealing with that. Right? Somewhat like we were talking about earlier. You do not heal when you do not allow rest. Ain't that the truth? But kind of how we were talking about earlier with the feeling of like getting to know who you really are, kind of thing. You know, after the mask not just drops, but feels like it is torn away. Right? I'm sure late diagnosed too, 34 now, diagnosed ADHD, maybe 5 years. That's considered, I'd consider that later life diagnosis, right? You don't have to be like 60. Oi. For everybody. Hi, Sumi. Shattered mask, yeah. Absolutely shattered mask is one way to look at it. We do not always choose. Sometimes you have an idea of it. Yep. Yep. Well, I have internal panic. All right. I want to say don't have internal panic. I know that doesn't help much, but you know how it is. Where are we here?
I'm a smart wolf.
There we go. The mask being ripped off is a good way to put it for me. That's kind of how I felt. More like a slow peel. Slow but painful peel. Know what I mean? I don't know if it's anything. Repo the genetic opera. Can't say so. Let's feel like the mask is shattered. Put the mask is like coffee with his face clipped. Okay then. Once we hear it, it gets heard, it's understood and processed, and ow, yes. Pavi Largo. Ah, okay. I feel like I don't connect with a lot of women my age that have been diagnosed after 25, because I got mine so young. And I mean, that's a thing that actually I have heard off and on in the autistic community, probably for the last few years. Is there was a lot of discussion about the differences between early and late diagnosis and like the effect that it has on you, kind of thing. Nightly typing practice now, that's what you were. Okay, I had missed that initially. I will say I am spaz. I'm on my final 2 courses before graduation. Fucking A, you got this, kiddo. So, Elspeth, I get it. That's completely an understandable feeling, right? I can't say that I don't feel like I relate because I was diagnosed ADHD so young. I can't say that I don't feel like I can relate to others that get it later in life. Like, for example, my wife got hers later in life, right? But I never really understood mine until the last 5 years, really, right? I grew up thinking I was lazy, I was hyperactive, and I was forgetful, essentially, right? Because that's what I was told, because I didn't know any different, right? They didn't give me any information about it, right? When I was diagnosed at 6 or 7 or whatever, I didn't know anything. I was never told anything about it. So then I grew up, whatever, you know, fast forward until I'm 23, I think, when I got re-diagnosed, because I needed new meds. So he handed me pills and a pat on the back, and out the fucking door I went. Right? Not a pamphlet, nothing. Partner has advised me I should get some rest. Okay, if that's what you need to do, go and get yourself some rest. We absolutely encourage rest around here. Take care of yourself. We call it Rule 0. The most important rule, you matter first. Take care of you. Real life comes first. So do that. Go take care of yourself. And thanks for coming by. I hope to see you again soon. I think it's why my therapist hope people come to the idea that they are insert here, they come to it, but many of us just fucking tell me and help me how I didn't know, right? 6 years old, medication 6 to 20, since then, been off since then, till 34, parents took me off meds, summer months, so I learned how to handle life without meds. I feel like I got my psychosis diagnosis far too late. I have nothing to add to that. Only because I'm not going to pretend to understand psychosis. It's not something I do a lot of study on. So, your experience is valid, I will say that much. Before we drift too far off, once again, reminder, I got a book coming out this Saturday. So, hey, check that out. Pre-order exclamation book if you want to hit the links for that. The ebook and the paperback are coming out on numerous platforms. There you go. If you are a member of Patreon or a member on YouTube or a member on Fourth Wall, you will get a free copy of it because I'm just giving it to you guys. I'm going to call it the Fuck You Eris Deluxe Edition. No, I'm not going to call it that. The deluxe edition, I am currently working on the audiobook format of it. Hopefully that won't take me too long, because I know how methodical and picky I am when it comes to audio production, but I've also never fully produced an audiobook, so this is going to be a first for me. So all the characters are going to have different... No, not quite. I could, but I'm not gonna. All the characters have different voices. It comes with a soundtrack, so the music is going to be added to it, as well as in the audiobook, and sound effects. Can I have one copy with a fuck you? I can make that happen. I can do anything I set my mind to. Eventually in time, when the MS exhaustion leaves me alone. No, I'll stop there. All right, let's get back on track here, shall we? Talking about the mental health stakes. Okay, so quick note before this section. This is a factual research context. It is not the emotional center of the stream. So if any of this lands heavy for you, that's okay. Just take care of yourself, right? Like Jay did. Take care of yourself. This is just the facts, okay? The data. Autistic women experience... Here's your trigger warning. I'll give you the trigger warning now, actually. All right? So here's your trigger warning. If you gotta step away, I still love you. In the meantime, I'll say, hey, I'm broke and gonna lose my phone and internet. If you can help, great. If you can't, I still love you. Annie May. So there was your trigger warning. 63 months, oh my god. Insane, I tell you. Alright. Again, here's the trigger warning. These are the facts based on the numbers. Alright? Harley, you're the bestest. Okay, brace for it. Here it is. Autistic women experience suicidality at roughly 3 times the rate of non-autistic women generally, separate from the menopause research. Okay? At large, there was an Ontario-based study that found autistic women had an 83% higher risk of self-harm compared to non-autistic women. Shut your face, bud. I can attest to that. Research specifically focused on autistic menopause found that rates of mental illness and suicide risk appear to peak during the menopausal transition for autistic women. Autistic women are also more prone to central sensitivity syndromes, conditions like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, things like that, which are themselves affected by hormonal fluctuation. So why did I add this section? I didn't add it to scare anyone, obviously. It's meant to underline why the topic deserves to be taken seriously rather than dismissed as just menopause.
Drink your water! Unclench your jaw! Take your
Water for everybody.
Eat something yummy, motherfucker!
Where the fuck did the hype train come from? Grab yourself a cookie, by the way. CFS Potts. Heads. Addison's secondary for start. I knew where you were going with it. I can tell my mental health has declined a ton lately. I've noticed it started happening around the time of my diagnosis. Yeah, it's almost like we feel more all the time. Almost, right? Almost. Okay, so like I said, I didn't add in this part to scare you guys, okay? Again, it's meant to underline why this topic deserves to be taken seriously rather than dismissed as just menopause. So if today's bringing up anything heavy for you, please reach out to a professional, a crisis line in your area. You can also reach out to me directly after the stream, okay? Reach out to a friend. All right, Peter, internet's failing. Okay. Catch you later, dude. And this is also exactly why the discovery and validation piece earlier matters so much, because naming what is happening accurately is protective. Awareness, especially because mental health is always a matter here. Yes, it always is. Removal. Right, yeah. Ehlers-Danlos. It's a hard thing that we do now. You are loved 100%.
Squirrel.
Absolutely. You are always loved here. Remember that from the Standby song. Okay, so here are the mechanisms. So this is a deeper dive on basically why this shit happens. Okay. First, grab yourself a cookie. Why? Because Harley said so. By the way, Harley, let me know what you think of the color of your car. If you don't like it, I'll change it. Because if you subscribe, you get a car on the squirrel train. Anyway, I digress. Another cookie, that's right. Okay, so on the ADHD side, estrogen and dopamine. Not to be scary, but because if you feel buried in prison thoughts, speak up. Yes, 100%. Speak up. Reach out. Okay, if that shit is getting to your head. Dark side had cookies. Yes, I did. Industry played with my mental health. Yeah, a lot of things can absolutely fuck with your mental health, right? It'll probably be the last car on the train because it does it automatically. It just adds the car there, and it goes by random color. And that goes for anybody. If you guys want me to change,
By the power of Great
Jesus,
Squirrel!
Watch out for my lightsaber. Yeah, if you guys want me to change the color of your car, just let me know. If you have an exact hex code, that would work even better. Anyway, so we were talking about estrogen and dopamine. So basically, this is the ADHD side. Estrogen receptors exist throughout brain regions that are involved in attention and executive function, which are, obviously things that we struggle with as ADHDers. Estrogen supports dopamine synthesis and receptor sensitivity. So perimenopause isn't a steady decline. It's a wild fluctuation before the eventual drop. I like you, I love you, I may know you, you can't control your hormones, I love you here. Bam. There you go. So fluctuating estrogen means fluctuating dopamine. Means fluctuating dopamine support on top of a system that is already inconsistent. TARDIS blue, very nice. I approve of that. I would like it even more if the goddamn thing would let me copy the color. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to change their car color really quick. Boom. Da, 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 da. Scroll down. Huh? No. Hold on. Da, 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 da. Kabam. Kabam. So, there we go. There, it should be changed. I'm feeling that drop today majorly, but also Mother Nature hates me. I mean, okay, that's fair. It's not fair, but what you're saying is fair. Anyway, so, like I just said, the fluctuating estrogen means that fluctuating dopamine support on top of a system that is already inconsistent. Okay? This explains why it can feel less like getting older and more like the floor randomly disappearing on some days and not others. Okay? So, secondary gating, the autism side. Sensory gating is the brain's filter that lets you ignore a ticking clock but notices a smoke alarm. So estrogen supports that filtering mechanism. Your estrogen drops, the filter becomes less reliable. So sounds, lights, textures that used to be background noise suddenly demand your full attention. Interoception, which is something that can affect both sides. How's that color for you? Interoception is your sense of your body's internal state. As we know, we talk about it a lot, right? Your ability to read if you're hungry, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you're tired, blah, blah, blah. So it is already documented as very different when it comes to autism and ADHD, but autism, big one there. There was a 2026, this year, review that proposes this as a key linking mechanism for why menopause hits autistic people harder. So if you already struggle to accurately read your body's internal signals, and admit it, I know there's a lot of you that do because I've sat in VCs with you and I've called you out on it. Then a flood of new physical sensations, hot flashes, palpitations, joint aches, they become confusing rather than just uncomfortable. So the symptoms might not be more intense in an objective sense. It might just be less legible, and that's what produces the distress. How dare you look into my soul like this? Hey man, I'm just reading the data, okay? I told you, I cannot speak from a personal stance on this because I do not know and will never know what perimenopause coupled with ADHD or autism feels like, let alone perimenopause by itself. I'm just telling you what the studies find, man. So if you would do me a favor and get a little stepladder and crawl down out of my ass there, Annie Mae, that'd be appreciated. Motherfucker, I tell ya. Anyway, sorry. I apologize about that. The highs can also be higher, lows much lower. Building in breaks helps support it in the community. Like just being heard is something, and you are worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, this part might hurt. This part might deliberately hurt. Keyboard isn't playing good with me, or maybe it's my fingers. How dare you make me take to love that. All right, get ready. Get ready for a little pain then. The masking math. Masking is expensive on the system. Constant monitoring, suppression, performance. Okay? Tell me when I'm wrong. The cost is always being paid out of a finite resource pool that you have. Estrogen was quietly part of that resource pool without anybody realizing it. When the estrogen drops, masking doesn't get harder because of some new mysterious force. It gets harder because the bill finally came due on something that was never sustainable long term. I'm gonna move on before you guys really start throwing shit at me. One more honest piece. General perimenopause depression risk. And yes, you have less to give. 100%. This is why it's stereotyped that when it comes to perimenopause, that essentially you've run out of fucks to give on everything. And yeah, be honest with your care. I'm not going to throw anything. No, you might not, but Amber and Annie might, so there's that. Anyway, one more honest piece here. General perimenopause depression risk, even outside of ADHD and autism. The research does show that women in perimenopause generally are 40% more likely to experience depression than premenopausal women. And that's a baseline for everybody. ADHD and autism appear to push that baseline considerably higher. So, question for you. Sensory overwhelm getting worse specifically in the last few years and not just gradually with age. Anybody relate to that? I can do this all day. I know you can. It's because you always show up with the armor. You know what you're walking into. So I'll ask that question again, okay? Sensory overwhelm getting worse specifically in the last few years and not just gradually with age. Can you relate to that? Yep. My depression, anxiety, symptoms, everything get worse and everything has resting most likely. It's plausible. I'm not obviously in a position to tell you yes or no. I'm just telling you what the data says, so it's plausible. Light and sound is slowly getting worse. Gothic says yes. I just want to, on a personal note, I just want to thank those of you that have been sitting here and listening to me, a white guy, a cis white guy, ramble on about something that has nothing to do with me, and sharing this data with you guys, and not taking that as me trying to talk over you, because I would never. Your lived experience is valid. Again, I'm just here to share the data. Lovely. I'll talk to my therapist about it. Probably a good idea. Coupled with the heaviness of realizing your AuDHD is a lot. Yes, as the data points out, burnout has also been more easier after 30. Your burnout has been, I'm not sure which way you're going with that. It's easier to get burnt out, or it's easier to deal with your burnout. Someone who has an over removed noticed their symptoms got stronger. Right, well, and in the case of my wife, sharing TMI, because we had so many failed pregnancies, shall we say, 12 of them in total. So my wife basically, you know, has most of her shit removed because of ectopic pregnancies and such, right? That's why another reason that we're so, that we smother Jasa so much is because she was baby 12 of 13, right? It took us 8 years and she was the 12th pregnancy. So, you know, so that's probably another reason why it hits her as hard as it does. I experience burnout more often since I hit 30. Okay, that's what you're trying to say. If really the data is that you're incredible being alone. God damn you, Annie. It was Kate. What about Kate? Someone who has an ovary. Oh, who had an ovary removed? Notice her symptoms. I'm thinking in severe autistic. I'm in severe autistic burnout and have been for a while. It's entirely possible. Autistic burnout, and that's the thing about autistic burnout, as we kind of take a sidestep here. You need to remember that as an autistic, when you hit burnout, it's not just a matter of get some rest and it'll get better, right? That shit can go on for months or years, right? Work plus Mother Nature is hurting. That's fine. That's fine. Also, you know, my reading is probably like out the window because I've been reading my notes here. So sensory sensitivities are way worse. Can't figure it out because of realization or the masking overload, etc. I mean, why not both, right? All right, let's move on to some actual shit that you can do with this information. All right. Here's my message. Where's the button I'm looking for?
Get fucked.
That's the one. All right, so what can we actually do with this information? For the ADHD assessment, okay? So if you're a woman between 35 and 50 and the symptoms suddenly worsen, bringing perimenopause into the conversation, maybe you should bring it up with your prescriber directly. So bring the numbers with them, 54%, up to 10 years earlier onset, like we said earlier. Mention the surgical versus natural menopause distinction if it applies to you, since recovery patterns may differ. Again, all of these notes should be, if I remember that I wrote it correctly, all of these notes should be in that article that are pinned to the top. Don't let it get filed as just anxiety or just menopause without anyone connecting the dots. As we always say, always say, advocate for yourself. Make fucking sure that they are looking for the right things, right? If these are things that concern you, bring them this article. Print this article out. Bring them the links to the journals that I have linked there, okay? Print out the fucking journals and bring those to them, right? Walk in, stack in hand, and say, look, I think that this is something that affects me. Advocate for yourself. Don't ever take no for an answer if all they do is say that it's just anxiety or it's just menopause. If you worry that this is something that you are experiencing or you are going through, walk in with the data and slap them with it. Advocate for yourself. So, for the autism discovery or assessment, if you have time, you think you're in DM the article? Yes. I will. Anybody else who wants me to directly send them the links to the articles, let me know. I will do it. Okay, so for the autism discovery or assessment, bother you, you're worth a follow over a doc for sure. There's so much data. You know, I got you. I will help you all the way. Eris, you are the fucking bomb. You're the best around. Stop it. I'm just a silly guy with the information. Okay, so if you have a sudden loss in the ability to mask, combined with new or worsening sensory overwhelm, it is real and it is a documented pattern. That is not you falling apart for no reason. If you've had a lifetime of PMDD or severe menstrual symptoms, mention that too. It is part of the same hormone system picture, okay? It is worth naming it directly to a clinician even before you have a formal diagnosis. Again, walk in with the paperwork, slap them with it. Think of this. I've been wanting to learn more about this. I'm happy to share. Again, this was a requested topic. I still don't remember who it was who requested it. Thanks to them for it. And remember, you guys, if there is a specific topic you want me to cover, post it in the Coach Corner section or just DM it to me directly. I would prefer that you put it in the Coach section because it can get lost in a DM for me. But anyway, I'm seeing a doctor, thank you. Another thing you can do, track it. A simple log, your mood, your attention, your sensory tolerance, your physical symptoms. Track them and date them. So that way you have got a running tally, a running graph, you know, data that you can show them. It gives you something concrete instead of a vague sense of everything that is getting worse. It also gives a clinician something to actually work with. For the compounded, the AuDHD piece, which is still new information that is coming out, there is no dedicated study that exists for people who are both ADHD and autistic going through this, okay? That doesn't mean that your experience is not real. It means that the research has not caught up yet, which unfortunately is something that we say sadly too often here. The research just hasn't caught up yet. That's why I get so excited when there's brand new articles that are pointing things out about this, right? Like the fact that, you know, AuDHD is being looked at as not ADHD plus autism, it's being looked at as a third neurotype. Yeah, did we have DMs? I'm forwarding to send you a couple ideas. You can let me know. Nice. That was a very strange thing. Boy, Kitty wanted me to use headsets. So, if you are navigating both at once, ADHD and autism, along with perimenopause, okay, and it feels like more than the sum of its parts, that tracks with what we know about each condition, like both conditions individually. Okay, so the knowledge factor, this is worth repeating from the international survey. People who knew in advance how menopause might specifically affect them as an autistic or an ADHD individual report significantly easier transition than those who didn't. So maybe this information going forward might help you in the knowledge factor. The fact that here is this data, maybe it can help you going forward. Okay, so that's the actual purpose of today's stream, not just the fact that it was a request, obviously, right? But the actual purpose for this is knowing this shit in advance, which can help change the outcome based on the research itself. How are you all feeling out there?
Get up and dance. Move
I know this was a lot of information. I know some of it could probably feel heavy in places. Low energy, fair enough. I can multitask, yay! Low energy is valid. Low energy is absolutely valid. Feeling a little validated, but I have a lot to think about. Well, and again, the article is pinned at the top, and it's got all of the sources at the bottom of the article. Or, if you're feeling lazy, I can just send them to you. The article is there. It's up. It is forever. Okay? That comes with all of the info. The VOD will be up for 2 weeks on Twitch. It'll be up permanently on YouTube. I might even shorten it down a bit. Couple ideas. Fair enough. All of the information. I'm off my V and on my... I don't know. It's going to work. Freaking nurse now. Put an IV when she was put in the freaking bed. Oh. Ouch. I hurt just thinking about that. All right, well, let me give you 3 things to leave with for today before we wrap all of this up, okay? Here are 3 things that I want you to walk away with, at the very least. The knowledge that this is a documented pattern with a hormonal basis. It is not a personal failure, okay? If you feel like you are failing personally, you are wrong. I am telling you that you are wrong.
Get up and dance.
This is a documented pattern with a hormonal basis, okay? The masking collapse and the sensory overwhelm that you might be feeling has research behind it now. You are not imagining it, and you are not uniquely broken. Bringing this specifically to your clinician by name, because most of them haven't connected the dots yet either. I want you to have that ability. If this is something that you need to bring to your doctor, your clinician, your psychiatrist, your whoever, your therapist, it's not personal, it's clinical. Perfect. Perfectly said. But I want you to have the data available to you that if this is something that you feel like you are dealing with, here's the data. Bring it to them. Like I said, slap them with it. Track all of your stuff if you feel the need to, right? Your self-documentation there that you can bring to them. Okay, so the full Scholar Series article is up on Substack. Again, the link up at the top. All 3 primary papers are linked. This is one where I primarily want to hear from you guys, because this topic clearly hits something, right? I, again, being a cis white male, will never have to deal with this directly, physically, right? Physiologically. I'm sure better, easier ways to track everything. I know. You know what? Even if you open Google Sheets and make yourself a dinky little spreadsheet between ADHD, the DID, I'm such a hard time remembering to track. That mood, I get it. I totally understand. DM me more. I do feel like I'm failing and I'm broken sometimes. Therapists connected CPTSD. Feel maybe I should bring ADHD. I struggle. Someone's just trying to figure out what to eat. Bring them the data. Heather, you don't have an ADHD diagnosis, do you? I'm trying to remember what you do have for diagnoses. It gets confusing around here sometimes, man. Not officially. Okay. Did you ever grab my my ADHD spectrum graph? It's the one. It's available on my store for free for download. You remember the spectrum graph though, right? I made it like, I think I did. Fill that out. Print it out a couple of times and fill that out and date it, right? Do it for today, and then do one for tomorrow, and then do one for the next day. kind of thing, right? And bring that in as well, because that wheel is all diagnostic criteria, the current diagnostic criteria. Who knows what's going to happen with the DSM-6, right? But again, that's data. Now, it's obviously not anything official, but it does have all of the diagnostic criteria on it, right? So if you fill that out a few times and bring that in with you, it's more data to slap on his lap. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Again, how are you guys feeling about today's topic? Is this something that struck? Her lap end, yes. More. He definitely struck. Well, again, link is up at the top for the article. For those who have not read it, basically it's the same thing that we just talked about, but all of the resources are linked at the bottom. Again, if you guys have any specific topics you want me to cover, put them in the coaching channel, please. Preferably, you can DM them to me, but I just fear that they're going to get lost before I get them. Except for Harley's, which I will probably grab right after the stream here. Then they called me for an earlier infusion. I was able to actually partake in the whole thing too. It was actually really helpful for me today. My infusion was supposed to actually start in 15 minutes. So I would have been asleep still. Like unconscious, but no, I know what you mean. I got you wherever you go. All right. Well, before we wrap up here, again, a reminder that, like I said, the link is up at the top if you want the information. If you want the links, DM me. I will send them to you. Or if you're not feeling lazy, go and grab them off the article. Shameless self-promo. I got a book coming out on Saturday. It is called Standard Procedure. It is just a short story. If you're interested in it, exclamation book. If you are a patron, if you're on Patreon, or if you're a member on YouTube or Fourth Wall, you will get a free copy of it. Keep being amazing, every single one of you. Take 10 for you, please. Yeah, make sure you rest and relax. I love you all. I love ADHD. You really helped me talk to my therapist before. I'm glad. Oh, that I'm an autistic therapist, and she'll send the links. Excellent. Well, you've got some. I'll send you some brand new ones to send to them. All right. What else? Follow me on Substack. Go to the link and fucking subscribe to me there. It's free. You guys always get all of the information, all of the basic information. I'm still deciding what to do with that. I'll figure it out. Whatever. And yeah. Hey, if you're feeling rich and helpful, I'm broke as fuck. If not, I still love you. It's all good. And what are we going to do now? I think what we will do is I will roll us some credits, and then we're going to go pick on a lovely friend of ours. But in the meantime, and in between time, that's it. Another edition of me rambling on. I hope to be back on Friday. I don't anticipate, other than, body willing, of course, always body willing. Should be here on Friday. I don't know what we're going to talk about on Friday yet, but I'll figure it out. So anyway, all my love to you. Thank you all for being here, listening to me ramble on. I hope you're here on Friday too. 2:30 Mountain Time, whatever time that is in your time zone. I know that's like 11:30 or something for Harley, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around there. 11:30, 12:30. I don't know. Much love to all of you. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for being here and listening. Drink your water. Take your meds. Be kind to yourself. All my love to you guys. And I will see you back here on Friday. Until then, ciao for now. I'm going to roll the credits, and then we're going to raid into Damn It Dan, who's playing with Cajun Geek. All right? Love the music track as always. Thank you much. These should be available on SQRL-FM pretty soon. Anyway, I digress. Drink your water, take your meds, be kind to yourself. I love you long time.